जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदनंदना जय व्रज जनरंजना जय व्रज जनरंजना जय जय व्रज जनरंजना जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय 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 चारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय जय यशोदनंदना जय व्रज जनरंजना जय व्रज जनरंजना जय जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhav ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Lalita Vishaka ki Jai. Shri Shri Krishna Balarāma ki Jai. Shri Gaurnita ji ki Jai. Granthra Shri Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for assembling together today for a wonderful association with Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam, the holiest of holiest dhams, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki. And we are just a few days away from the most auspicious day of our life, Shri Krishna Janmashtami Mahamahotsav ki Jai. So today we will be hearing from 10th canto, chapter 84, verse number 2 to 9. So first I will recite the verses up to 2 to 8 with translation. The 9th shloka I think we will do with repetition. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Iti sambhāṣamāṇāsu strībhiḥ nṛbhir āyayur munayas tatra kṛṣṇa-rāma-didṛkṣayā Dvaipāyano nāradaś cyavano devalo Viśvāmitra and Śatānanda Bharadvāja and Gautama Rāma sa-śiṣyo bhagavān Vasiṣṭho Gālavo and Bṛhagu Pulastyah Kaśyapa Mārkaṇḍeya and Bṛhaspati Trita and Ekata brahma-putrās Agastya and Yājñavalkya vāmadeva-ādayaḥ. Translation: As the women thus talked among themselves and the men among themselves, a number of great sages arrived there, all of them eager to see Lord Krishna and Lord Balarāma. They included Dvaipāyana, nāradaś, cyavano, Devala and Asita, Viśvāmitra, Śatānanda, Bharadvāja and Gautama, Lord Parashurama and his disciples, Vasishtha, Gālava, Bhṛgu, Pulastya and Kaśyapa, Atri, Mārkaṇḍeya and Bṛhaspati, Trita and Ekata and the 4 Kumaras, and Angira, Agastya, Yājñavalkya and Vāmadeva. Tān drishtva sahasottaya prāgāsīna nṛbhir Pandavah Krishna-rāmau ca Pranēmur Viśvāmitra. As soon as they saw the sages approaching, the kings and other gentlemen who had been seated immediately stood up, including the Pandava brothers and Krishna and Balarāma. They all then bowed down to the sages who are honored throughout the universe. Tānānarchuryatha sarve saharamocchutorchayat swagatasanapadyarghya malyadhupanulepanaihi. Lord Krishna, Lord Balarāma and the other kings and leaders properly worship the sages by offering them words of greeting, sitting places, water for washing their feet, drinking water, flower garlands, incense and sandalwood paste. Uvacha sukhamasīnān Bhagavan dharma guptanuhu sadasastasya mahato yata vacho nushrunvataha. After the sages were comfortably seated, the Supreme Lord Krishna, whose transcendental body protects religious principles, addressed them in the midst of that great assembly. Everyone listened silently with rapt attention. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Aho Vayam Janma Bhruto Labdham Karsnyena Tatphalam Devanamapi Dushprapam Yad Yogeshwara Darshanam. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Aho Vayam Janma Bhruto Labdham Karsnyena Tatphalam Devanamapi Dushprapam Yad Yogeshwara Darshanam. Prabhus. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Aho Vayam Janma Bhruto Labdham Karsnyena Tatphalam Devanamapi Dushprapam Yad Yogeshwara Darshanam. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Aho Vayam Janma Bhruto Labdham Karsnyena Tatphalam Devanamapi Dushprapam Yad Yogeshwara Darshanam. Mataji. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Aho Vayam Janma Bhruto Labdham Karsnyena Tatphalam Devanamapi Dushprapam Yad Yogeshwara Darshanam. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, the Supreme Lord said, Aho, Vayam, we, Janma Bhrutaha, having taken birth successfully, Labdham, obtained, Karsnyena, altogether, Tat, of it, one's birth, Phalam, the fruit, Devanam, for demigods, Api, even, Dushprapam, rarely obtained, Yat, which, Yoga Ishvara, of Master of Yoga, Darshanam, the sight. Translation, please repeat. The Supreme Lord said, now our lives are indeed successful, for we have obtained life's ultimate goal, the audience of great yoga masters, which even demigods only rarely obtain. Purport, please hear. Despite the great privileges that demigods enjoy as administrators of the universe, they rarely see such sages as Narada and Vyasadeva. How much rarer then must it be for earthly kings and mere cowherds to see them? Here Lord Krishna, identifying himself with all the kings and others who had assembled at Samanta Panchaka, speaks on their behalf. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Meeshwaram Namo Shambhara Vishnu Bhakti Vedam Swami Namaste Namaste Saraswati Vedorvani Pacharani Nurvisheshwani Paschata Dishatarni Om Shri Vibhushitakaran Navaniradabat Pitambarat Arunabimba Phaladharoshtat Purnendu Sundar Mukhat Aravindanetrat Krishnat Param Kimapi Tattvam Aham na jane Ananta Kandarpa Kala Vilasam Kishora Chandram Rasikendu Shekaram Shyamam Mahasundarata Bidhanam Shri Krishna Chandram Sharanam Gatosmi Shri Krishna Chandram Sharanam Gatosmi. Jai Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Ji ki Jai, Shri Krishna Balarāma ki Jai, Shri Gaurnatai ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Beautiful, beautiful section. This is a sage's teaching at Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is mostly, we identify it for fighting. We identify it for the great calamitous war that happened between Kauravas and Pandavas. But when it comes to Bhagavatam, even Kurukshetra is used only for sattvic purposes. That's the beauty about Bhagavatam. Even Duryodhana becomes a saintly person when it comes to Bhagavatam. When Ashwatthama comes with the, after killing the Pandava sons, Duryodhana, who wanted to, throughout his life, who wanted to kill the Pandavas and the whole dynasty, he was not happy. Nananda Pashyan. It said, Bhagavatam says, Duryodhana Nananda Pashyan, means he was not happy to hear this Ashwatthama killing the sons of Pandavas. So Bhagavatam is so purely, Shuddha Sattva Purana it is. While we categorize different Puranas as tamasic, Puranas for the tamasic people and Rajasic and Sattvic, but Srimad Bhagavatam is Purana Mamalam. It's only for 100%, those who are 100% pure at heart. That's Bhagavatam, Nirmatsaranam Satam, right? So this is such a beautiful place where actually this happens before the war which happened later, right? So all everybody assembled. In fact, even the Kauravas, Pandavas, Vrishnis, Yadavas, everybody assembled. And that was an opportunity This was like actually Krishna is in Dwarka and he comes with all the queens of Dwarka. And for a long time, the Brajavasis had not seen Krishna and they were longing in separation. So this was an opportunity for them also to come and meet. And the Pandavas also come. Kunti Maharani comes, Draupadi, all the various queens, everybody come. It's such a wonderful place to assemble, isn't it? It's like they all wanted to just see each other, and when we meet, when you go to the Rath Yatra, for example, or say Janmashtami or a festival, first thing is that everybody is beaming with joy, right? There is no morose face at all in the Mahotsava, we say, right? Utsava. Utsava means utsaha. The words utsava and utsaha are very closely related. Enthusiasm, we say enthusiasm, right? This word is actually not, many times in India they pronounce this word enthusiasm. Actually, the word is pronounced enthusiasm. That enthu comes from the English, they borrow from Greek, Latin, everywhere, right? So the word theo comes from theo. Theology, theosophy, they say theosophy, they say, no? So the theo actually in Greek means God. So enthusiasm means one who has Krishna in their heart, one who has God in their heart. That's what is the actual meaning of the word enthusiasm. So over time we change the pronunciation and the meaning is completely lost, right? So those who are saying, you are enthusiastic, it means actually, do you have Krishna in your heart? That's all it means. Do you have God in your heart? So if we are thinking about Krishna's service, we become satisfied and we become enthusiastic. So that is actually utsaha. So whenever we are utsaha, then it becomes utsava. We don't need to have all the big paraphernalias to become to conduct a utsava. Manaso mahotsavam, it is said. Mind can become jumping in joy. When mind jumps in joy. Like Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, he was not able to walk also. But the moment he heard holy names, he was jumping in joy, isn't it? He saw Mahaprabhu's birthplace and he jumped in joy. So that is the outcome of, the mind has so much power that even invalid senses also can come to, come in action. Inactive senses also can become active. So here, this is very important to understand that they all gather together. The first thing that happens is, they are all so happy to see each other, meet each other. After a long time, Kunti Maharani is meeting Vasudeva, and Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva are meeting, and Pandavas are also meeting. It's all a beautiful gathering of all saintly people, right? And the second thing is, most important is, if just people meet with each other, it will just be a social gathering. But here, everything is with Krishna in the center. Krishna is the center of attraction. For us also, when we come to, say, when we go to holy dhams like Vrindavan, Dwarka, Mayapur, Puri, we are not going there just to meet somebody and do some business or some material things. We go there, the center of attraction is Krishna. Right? When the center of service is Krishna. Whatever we do is for the pleasure of Krishna. And that is what defines dham, that is what defines devotees. And when we all come together, like how all the pure devotees of Krishna, they all come together, they are exchanging transcendental ecstasies. That is what madchitta madgata prana bodayantah parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. In the whole of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, this is the only verse that talks about devotee association. All other verses, Prabhupada Krishna talks about qualities and asuric, directly when he talks about, this is the verse where he talks about how a devotee association must be. When two devotees meet each other, what they are supposed to do. They are supposed to Machitta Madgata Prana Bodhayantaha Parasparam Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. Just talking about Krishna, they become fully satisfied and dancing in joy. Actually, the Prabhupada has translated this same verse in Bhagavatam 2:3:12. Jnanam yada pratinivritta gunormi chakram atma prasada utayatra guneshva sangaha kaivalya sammata patastvata bhakti yogaha ko nirvrito harikatasu pratimna kuryat. In that purport, Prabhupada translates this in a beautiful way. Devotees exchange feelings of transcendental ecstasies. That is what is a Kathayantascha Mam Nityam. Prabhupada translated it as. Beautiful translation. Nobody can have this kind of a translation. If Prabhupada wanted, he could have copied that same text and put it here also. But he chose to put they exchange feelings of transcendental ecstasies and relish each other's happiness. That's what the sages here they are doing. Everyone gathered here. But a beautiful thing here that happens right now is that now they are all sitting and discussing, gathering together. Everybody is like Kunti is talking to Vasudeva, Bhishmadeva, and all of them are Dronacharya, Krupacharya, Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana. Everybody is there. And Pandavas are also there, and Krishna, Balarāma, they are there. They are all sitting and talking to each other. It's a big gathering. And suddenly they say, all these great sages, they have come. Right? A big list of sages are given, isn't it? Asita, Devala, Vyasa, Narada, Parashurama has come with a whole crew of his disciples. It's very interesting. This is the same Samanta Panchaka where he killed all the kings and created a flowing blood of river of blood. Right? And that's the same place where everybody is gathering to discuss Krishna Katha. And Parashurama is also there. See, imagine the two extremes that he is part of. Amazing, isn't it? So, everybody is gathering together. And the beautiful thing is, the sages, they all come, and they actually wanted to take part in this association, in what they are talking, because this is even much more higher, more intense and higher than the normal Vedic discussions that one may do. However, Krishna is teaching us a very important lesson here. What he is doing is, he is actually receiving the sages so beautifully. Like, see, what all things he did, such a perfect reception. He teaches us so many important things for us to, lessons for us to learn. First thing is, as soon as they come, he is offering them words of greetings. Very important, because the sages have traveled far distance. All others would have traveled by chariot or horses or elephant or whatever. But the sages don't travel by all these things. They just walk. They always walk everywhere. So when they travel, they walk. First thing we have to do is that first offer words of greetings. If anybody is coming, pleasingly we should talk to them. That is the first thing that Krishna is teaching us. The next thing is first sitting place, because they are all walking so far. It's not that you have to just keep them standing and talk. Keep them comfortably seated. They are all seated here. That is why we are able to hear Bhagavatam comfortably. If everybody is moving about here and there, and I am also moving about, like in the stages and all they do, right? If I am just moving about, that itself shows I am in a Rajasic mode. Suddha Sattva Purana, Suddha Sattva Shastra should be discussed in a sattvic platform at least. Bare minimum is a sattvic environment. And the person who is speaking also should be in a calm, composed mood. Who is hearing also should be in calm, composed mood. That's when the exchange will be at its best. Then he gives a sitting place to sit for them. Then he offers water to wash their feet. He washes their feet personally. And then offers water for them to drink. Then offers flower garlands. And then offers incense. Literally he is doing arati. Right? And then he offers sandalwood paste. Everything that we do to Krishna, Krishna is doing to the sages. This is how he is teaching us. How he is regarding the sages, the saintly people in his by himself. Krishna is teaching us, if he is treating the saintly persons like this, how much more we should be treating the saintly person to be, isn't it? There is so much throughout that, and after doing all these things only, making sure that they are comfortably seated, and then he is asking their well-being and asking their questions. This shows how considerate and sensitive he is. And as devotees, many times we take it for granted, at least I can tell this for myself, that we take it for granted that, in Krishna consciousness everything works. Krishna will forgive everything. This is the highest. So we don't have to take, give attention to all these other minor details. But Krishna is showing us by his own practice, by his own personal example, that this is how you receive. This is not the only instance. Sudama, he receives like that. Narada Muni, he receives like that. And in the Rajasuya Yajna, everybody took different services, right? Duryodhana was after the administrative things, so he was given the management part. You manage the overall, how everything is running and all that. Bhima is very happy to do cooking, so they put him in charge of the cooking seva. I don't know how many got prasadam. He eats half of it anyway. So Karna is very happy to give gifts, so he was put into the receiving and giving gifts thing. And Bhishmadev, Dronacharya, they were all like put in the counseling, suggestion, like they go to them for any guidance, like what to do here, what to do there, who should be the chief guest and all that. And Krishna took the role of washing everybody's feet. Imagine Krishna washing everybody's feet. And for all, it is said, that Duryodhana, Dushasana, Dhritarashtra, everybody came. And all their feet he washed. It really requires a lot of, complete, zero ego or whatever you want to call it. Completely pure at heart only can do that. And he was washing Narada Muni's feet, Angira, everybody who came, all the sages. Those who hated also, he was washing their feet. Those who loved him also, he washed their feet. Right? So that is the greatest thing about Krishna, that he shows by example what we should do. When we wash others' feet, then he was kept into as the Parshada, the Supreme President, to everybody wash his feet and they sprinkled it on his head. So it is to learn these lessons, from Krishna, how he treats everybody according to their thing. It's not that only that we become intimate and everything is done and dusted. No, it takes a long route to reach there. Frankly speaking, we talk a lot about the different grades of rasa and all that. In this lifetime, I can tell this for myself. If I can get a speck of that Shantarasa mellow, then I will consider my life successful. It's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. We think that I can easily become Krishna's Sakha, Krishna's Vatsalya and all these things. But the kind of things that they had to endure here, I will not stand there for a moment. How much Kunti Maharani has to endure? How much Devaki and Vasudeva has to endure? Vasudeva never lived a happy life at all. As soon as he was married, he was put into the jail. And throughout his life, he had to live inside the jail. Devaki and Vasudeva both, and shackled. And on top of it, his children were killed in front of his eyes. And in spite of all these things, he was 100% truthful to his words. Even to a demon like a Kamsa. That is what he teaches us, Vasudeva teaches us. And that is why Krishna became his son. How much he has to endure, right? So here, after doing all these things, he is saying this beautiful verse, which he just now read. Now our lives are indeed successful, for we have obtained life's ultimate goal. This Krishna is telling about himself. He has obtained life's ultimate goal. What is that ultimate goal? To receive the sages into that gathering. They didn't give any invitation. They didn't give any invitation that we are coming and all that. They just came. Why when they are coming, as normally uninvited guests are not so much welcome. You have to tell when you are coming, you have to tell how long you are staying, what is your program, all these things you tell, only then they will normally we understand, right? So, but then with all these sages like Narad Muni, you will throughout Bhagavatam, you will never see Narad Muni tell even once that I am coming so and so date, etc. He just appears and then he leaves. The beauty of this uninvited guest, nature of this uninvited guest is they come only for the others' well-being. That is why they are respected, and they don't have any exploiting tendency or expectation or anything. They don't have anything in their heart. They just come only to give their mercy to relieve the suffering of the householder or whoever's house they come. And within moments they leave. If you are uninvited also, we are welcome the moment we stay only for that period, If we stay on for a longer period, then we will be not treated like guest. We will be treated in a different way, right? Durvasa Muni is the best example of how not to be an uninvited guest. You come and you start commenting, and the only thing mystic potency he does is he immediately recognizes if somebody drinks water. He does it for Ambarish Maharaj, he does it for Krishna also. Krishna and Rukmini also in Dwarka, he had a similar pastime. So it's like this he does, and who will be eager to serve such a person? They will be doing it out of fear, right? And Duryodhana also, he came to Rajasuya Yajna when in the Indraprastha, when Yudhishthira Maharaj conducted this whole thing, and everything happened, was finished. But the palace was so beautifully built by that Mayadanava that he was amazed. He thought that they will just do a opening ceremony of a small hut or maybe some thatched roof, something. But the moment he came, he saw such a big palace standing there, and it's a Maya palace again. So he, instead of returning with everyone else, he stayed on for a few more days. And because he stayed on for a few more days, he had to face some insult, and that led to his envy and whole things. All the following things. So it is very important to understand what the sages are bringing in with them. They carry Krishna in their heart, and they are full of compassion, and that is the reason they are welcome. So that is why this word sanity, saintly person, is always connected with sanity. We say this, the sanitation we say, like when we clean some place, right? That sanitation we say. What does it do? It cleanses our hand or whatever also, and it prevents us from other impurification. Like in hospital, they do the sanitation they do. So what happens is, even those who are coming with disease, they don't spread it around. The effect is, not there. It is limited. It is controlled. So this sanity and sanitation, it's like when the saintly people come, they not only purify, they are not only pure themselves, they purify the place around them also. And that is the reason we get so much happiness to see somebody with a nice saintly quality, when they all come. So sanity, saintly, sane, all these are related to each other. The sanity, sane, when somebody is sane, say he is very sane. We say grave or dhira, we say, right? Dhiras tatra na mukhyati. So we don't get agitated. The saintly people don't get agitated. So that is, if you see, throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, the word sadhu, is saintly, sadhu, is repeated many number of times, right? And the beauty is, Prabhupada gives different meanings for each of these places, the qualities of sadhu. First quality of sadhu, it comes in the beginning of the first canto itself, 5th chapter, 1.5.11. Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abhaddhavatyapi namanyanantasya yashonkitaniyat shrunvanti gayanti grinanti sadavaha. That sadhu word, Prabhupada could have easily said saintly person. But he says, purified men who are thoroughly honest. So this honesty is a very important quality of a sadhu. Whether we stand in front of Krishna or in front of any devotees, if you are having a non-duplicitous nature in our heart, when you are non-duplicitous, very simple and straightforward at heart, saral, very saral, Sida Sada they say, in Hindi. So when we are really sadhu, then Krishna really gives that happiness. We may do any amount of bhakti, but if that honesty or the simplicity is not there, then we cannot relish really bhakti fully, the effect of bhakti fully. So that is one important quality of a sadhu. Another important quality, these are all the qualities of the sages who have arrived. That is why Krishna is telling that we have achieved our ultimate goal. Very difficult to find such saintly people who are living only for others' well-being. Parartha jivinaha. Their only goal of existence is to help others mitigate their suffering and bring them to Krishna. Isn't it? That is the ultimate aim of all of us. So now, the next thing that is so beautiful here is that in another verse, in 4:29-39, Yatra Bhagavata Rajan, it's 2 verses actually, 39 and 40. It's a beautiful verse. Yatra Bhagavata Rajan Sadavo Vishadāṣayah Bhagavad Guna Anukathana Shravana Vyagra Chetasaha. Beautiful verse this is. This defines the sadhu word here. Prabhupada explained this word as sadhu means wide-hearted. Very wide-hearted. Vishadāṣayah. Vishadāṣayah means one whose heart is very wide. How to make our heart wide? We cannot, it's not like a rubber band you can expand. Right? If you, how to make the heart wide? Chant Hare Krishna. Beautiful. That's the simplest way to widen our heart. But with feelings, right? Chant Hare Krishna with feelings. The Bhagavatam says that the best way to widen your heart is to put the widest person inside. Krishna is the widest person. Right? In Matsya Avatar, he became wider and wider and wider. Right? And Vishwarupa, he is becoming wider and wider and wider. So the moment you put Krishna inside our heart becomes wide. Very simple. And when chant Hare Krishna, you put Krishna in our heart. When we do Seva, we put Krishna in our heart. That's the whole idea. And here Bhagavatam, we put Krishna in our heart. Such a sadhu, from such a sadhu we should hear Srimad Bhagavatam. That's the beauty here. You see, when we can hear from anybody and everybody can call Sadhu Mahatma, Sadhu Mahatma. There's a beautiful Sadhu Mahatma in one village. He was there. So he was, everybody came to him for advice and guidance, because Sadhu Mahatma. So once one villager's son died. And he started crying, beating his chest and beating his head, and he was like crying like anything. And the whole villagers gathered and they said, please bring Sadhu Mahatma, he will at least give some console this person. So the Sadhu Mahatma came and he gave all the teachings and lessons of, Atma, body is different and you are not the body, everything. And the villagers, the village person, he also became very pacified. He said, Sadhu Mahatma is telling very nice. And everybody was happy that they were very detached. And so the Sadhu Mahatma accomplished his seva and he went back to his ashram. And the Sadhu Mahatma had a goat to drink milk every day. So 2 weeks later, his goat died. And now that Sadhu Mahatma started beating his head and he's crying, my goat is dead. So the villagers, especially that one who lost his son, he came to see this sadhu. Sadhu Mahatma, you told me 2 weeks ago about all the signs and soul and everything. And how come you are dying? That too, mine was my son died. Yours only goat is dead. You can get another goat. Why you are crying like this? Then the Sadhu Mahatma became very angry. He said, fool, what do you know? You lost your son, but I lost my bakra. Do you know my bakra, my pain? How much I feel the pain of losing my goat? Your son, you will feel the separation, but you don't know how much pain I am feeling. The same thing that villager also could have asked this sadhu. So this is not the sadhu that we are talking about. Many times we become superficial sadhus, which does not help us or even others also, right? It sets a wrong precedence. And we start thinking that, Sadhu Mahatma means like this only. Isn't it? That is why Srimad Bhagavatam in written form is the greatest boon, greatest benediction that Prabhupada has given us. Because even if the whole world turns into that kind of a village sadhu, that Sadhu Mahatma, we will know from the scriptures that how a Sadhu Mahatma is supposed to be. Sadhavo Vishadāṣayah, one who is wide-hearted. Vishala Hridaya we say, right? Badri Vishal we say, no? Vishala Hridaya. So when you have a very, very wide heart, we will be ready to accept anybody's pain, still continue to help them. Most of the time when our heart is narrow, what we do? We either help only those who are very dear to us, who satisfy our senses, or we only help those who are beneficial, who will be, in the long run, they will be very beneficial for us. Like that we do. Or, to the extent only we do, with very limitation. But a wide-hearted person, what he does, he helped. Yesterday he might have hurt me, but today if he is in difficulty, I will not bother about yesterday. Yesterday's was gone. Everybody has a body. That is why he called everybody. And everybody's body changes every moment. So yesterday's body was different, today's body is different. So we should not think about what happened yesterday. We should continue with what is happening today. So every day when we freshen ourselves, with our heart is pure, clean, when we start with a clean slate, then we can be a pure-hearted, wide-hearted person like this, the sages, right? And such a wide here Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Guna Anukathana, because they speak with so much enthusiasm, with Krishna in their heart, that you will forget the time, hunger, thirst, everything. Tasmin mahan mukharita madhubhicharitra. Madhubhicharitra means Krishna's charitra. Mahan mukharita, from the lotus mouth of such great souls. Piyusha shesha sarita parita shravanti. The words don't flow like a trickle. Piyusha, the nectar, shesha sarita, it's overflowing like a river, like how a flooded river flows. No? The river, the nectarian the river of nectar overflowing of Krishna Katha in the form of the nectar. Piyusha shesha sarita parita shravanti. It flows and then you should hear. And how we should hear? Taye pibanti. We are not supposed to hear. We are supposed to drink that nectar. Pibanti, taste that nectar. How we should taste? Pibanti avitrusho. Without satisfaction. You should not be satiated at all. The more it comes, it's already flood overflowing, and the only way you can capture maximum of that flood is by you not being satiated by it. The more it comes, the more you want. Taye pibanti avitrusho nṛpa gāda karnaihi. How do you not be satisfied at any moment? Your ears holes should be wide open. Your ear hole should be wide open. See, recently there was something floating around in the social media that you take ears one half and another is this half and put it together, it looks like the heart. You know, so whatever you are hearing through the two ears, it goes directly into the heart, they said. And in the English word heart also, if you say H-E-A-R-T, E-A-R is in the middle, exactly in the middle. Ear. Through the ears you hear. And that is why Krishna has given only one tongue though, and it has two locks here. Teeth and lips, two locks are there. But ears, two he has given with no locks. That's why you can have Gāda Karnaihi. Means your wide open ears. Only then we can hear as attentively as possible. As Krishna says in the previous verse, rapt attention. The word rapt attention actually means, when we are sitting like this and hearing or speaking, even if somebody comes and stabs me, it should not pain me. That's the effect of rapt attention. So Gāda Karnaihi. Then if you do this way, the last line shows what is the effect of such hearing from such a pure devotee. Tānas prashanti ashanatrid bhayashoka moha. 5 things don't even touch when we hear Bhagavatam from such a pure intention, from a pure source. Ashana means hunger. Trid means thirst. These two are bodily necessities. These two don't touch. That shows why Parikshit Maharaj could sit without eating or drinking or anything, right? And then the other 3 items are Bhaya, Shoka, Moha. These 3 are mental needs. First 2 are physical bodily needs. Other 3 are mental needs. These 2 are the things that is keeping us away from Krishna consciousness. You know, in the metros, when you have traveled, if you have traveled in metros, Delhi and other metros, metro cities you travel, when you approach the station, they will make an announcement. Have you heard that? Mind the gap between the platform and the train. Actually, it's a Krishna conscious statement. Mind is the gap. Mind the gap. Mind is the gap between us and Krishna. Mind is the gap between us and Krishna. So the moment mind comes, everything vanishes. So you should somehow or other keep the mind away, right? So this is how to keep it away, by hearing Krishna Katha so fervently. Tānas prashanti ashanatrid bhaya shoka moha. Bhaya of the future, shoka, lamentation of the past, moha of illusion of the present. Past, present, future. These 3 things are the ones in which the mind always travels and disturbs us. So these 3 things don't touch you. What happened in the past, you don't care. What's going to happen in the future, you don't care. Bhavishyam na chintayet. Gate shoko na kartavya. Bhavishyam na chintayet. Vartamaneshu kaleshu pravartante vishakshanaha. You don't worry about bhuta, bhavishya or present also. That is how Bhagavatam takes us away from the physical and mental needs and makes us also wide-hearted like these sadhus, great sadhus. Then the other important thing, beautiful thing comes, the word sadhu used in thing is in Lord Shiva's drinking the poison, the kuta, So it's also called Nilakanta because of that, that bluish ring that he got because he drank the poison for others, right? That beautiful tapyante lokatapena sadavaha prayasho janaha param aradanam tadhi purushasya akhilatmanaha. This verse gives us the greatest way of worshipping, greatest method of worshipping Krishna. Tapyante lokatapena. We should actually feel the other's pain. Without feeling the other's pain, we cannot be sadhus. Right? So when Lord Shiva felt the pain of all these devatas and all the living entities, he said, okay, let me drink the poison. Let me take that suffering of the others. Lokatapena sadavaha prayasho jana paramāradanam tadhi. That is the greatest aradhanam of the Supreme Lord. And Lord Shiva pleased Krishna to the maximum by that act, by his act. And in other places it is said sadhu means well behaved. One whose behavior is 100% pure, 100% devotee behavior. And that is the greatest thing about sadhus. And when saintly people, when we all have to become sadhus, we have to learn these things. Another place where it is said sadhu means who is fully abiding by the scriptures. Sadhu bhushanaha. That verse is there, no? Where the sadhu lakshana, sadhu bhushana, right? That there sadhu is described as one who 100% abides by the scriptures. That is why when you see, we want person Bhagavata, because the book Bhagavata, if it is sometimes difficult to understand, they show by practice. Srila Prabhupada showed us by practice. And that is why every day, every moment when we think of Prabhupada, frankly speaking, our whole body gets energized, surcharged with the devotion. Simply just think of Prabhupada. And imagine how much he has written, so many thousands and thousands of purports he has written. And through these books, through his deeds, he will live forever. There is a beautiful purport. How Prabhupada writes in the purport itself, how devotees live forever. Because nobody lives in this world forever. We all have to die at some point. But how do they live forever? Prabhupada writes beautifully. Another feature of devotee is that he lives forever because of his infallible devotion to the Lord. It is said, Kirtir yasya sa jivati. One who leaves a good reputation behind him lives forever. Specifically, one who is reputed as a devotee of the Lord undoubtedly lives forever. Ramananda Rai was asked this question, right? Who is the most famous, right? A devotee, when he answers, a devotee not only lives forever in the Vaikuntha planets, but by his reputation, he also lives forever within this material world. So he leaves an expansion of himself through his acts in this world, and he goes and performs his preaching activity everywhere. And the most important reason why Krishna is giving so much respect to these sages here is because he wanted to prove a very important point to all of us, that one who goes and preaches this message of Krishna consciousness, this pure devotional service to the whole world, all around, to all the suffering living entities, is the most dear to him. What is that famous verse? Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavi viriditam kalmashapaham shravana mangalam shrimadatam bhuvi grunanti ye bhurida jana. This bhurida jana is the word when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard it from King Prataparudra, immediately he hugged him. And then He was so joyful, Bhuvi Grinantiye Bhurida Jana. That Bhuvi Grinantiye is a very important word. When they go around, distributing like pearls and diamonds, they just distribute Krishna's names and glories and pastimes. They are the most dear to Krishna. He treats them as with utmost respect. And he wants everyone else to also treat them like that. That is why in this particular chapter, he gives that maximum importance to these sages. From them he is going to let Vasudeva here ask questions to them, and the exchange is going to happen in the next few verses. That is the most important thing, kalmashapaham. By their preaching, they do kalmashapaham. Shrimadatam, they Shravana Mangalam, by hearing the pure nectar flowing from their heart, we become pure at heart also. This is a very, very important. There are many, many such shlokas in which Krishna is giving the qualities of sadhus and how he is conquered by them. There's one shloka which we can hear about this, and how throughout Bhagavatam he says such great sages, when the Sanat Kumaras, when they come to Vaikuntha, right? At that time there is some little misunderstanding happens, and the Jaya Vijaya don't let them in, and then they curse them, and Lord Vishnu comes personally himself, and he speaks a beautiful verse, how much he regards the saintly people to be. Yassevaya charana padma pavitra renum sadyakshata khilamalam pratilabda shilam na shrir viraktam apimam vijahati yasyah preksha lavartha itare niyaman vahanti. He gives a beautiful meaning here. He says, the quality of Vishnu. I have a quality called Vishnu. What is that quality? Sadyakshata akila malam. By remembering me, all the sins of everybody who remembers me, it's destroyed completely, vanquished completely. I've got that quality. But that quality, and second quality, he says, everybody is running after Mother Lakshmi, Brahma, Shiva, everybody, all the demigods, everybody is giving utmost respect to Mother Lakshmi. But I don't care for her, but she doesn't leave me. These two qualities, why I got, he says, Yat sevaya charana padma pavitra renum. He says, I take the dust from the lotus feet of my sadhu devotees and put it on my head. That is what is giving me this quality of being this Vishnu. Like this, there are many, many verses. Nirapeksham munim shantam, nirvairam samadarshanam. If somebody is having these 5 qualities, anuvrajami aham nityam, I am closely following them. Puyayeti angri renubihi. By their dust flowing from their lotus feet, I am getting myself purified. This is the extent to which Krishna is treating the sadhus. And he shows it by practice here. This is the important thing that we should all learn from here. And I stop here. Thank you so much for your patient hearing. And Krishna willing, we'll have a question or two maybe, and we'll close the class.
Thank you for the enthusiasm. So when Ramananda Roy was asked by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is a symptom of a devotee, he said, asat sanga tyag avaishnava achar. So that gives us the indication that we should avoid persons who are not eager for hearing and chanting, who are interested only in politics and fault finding and domineering. So generally you can qualify someone by their qualities, guna and karma. And so the natural instinct is that anyone who's hearing and chanting about Krishna and encouraging those to hear and chant about Krishna, you can respect in a very high level. And those who are simply distracted by, Maya, should stay away from them.
Yes.
It's just a comment.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Very beautiful comment. Tato dussanga musrijya satsu sajjeta buddhiman. In 11th canto also he says the same thing. The dussanga musrijya. And the greatest dussanga is our mind. Tushtamana is our friend. Dushtamana is our enemy. So, thank you, Prabhu. If there is I think there is a question there.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for a wonderful class, Prabhu, as always. When we talk about enthusiasm, so it leads to some situation where we feel that we only can do that service. So it became a utsahamai, so that I cannot feel humility doing the service. So how to check this, Prabhu? Actually, we should always think that we are not doing the service. Krishna is doing it. What is that shloka? 11.33. Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. He says, no? In the 11th, you become my instrument. He tells to Arjuna. Krishna is telling to Arjuna. Right? So, service itself is actually, service itself is a blessing for us. We are not qualified. We don't deserve it, but somehow or other Krishna is giving us this seva opportunity, service opportunity. If you read 3.9.29 purport, Prabhu, that purport, Prabhupada writes how a servant's mood should be.
3, 9, 29. Remember this thing? After Brahma's prayers, Krishna is responding. In that, Prabhupada actually writes a beautiful purport. In that purport, 5 times he uses his word, Krishna is entrusting us with the service. Entrust is, I have entrusted you with this service, right? That trust actually means you don't freak out. That's the trust that Krishna is keeping us. Okay, I hope you don't freak out the moment I give you service. But a few times, initially when we do the service, Prabhu, we don't know what it is. So we will do it in a humble mood. But as we do slowly, I can do this. Then I start looking at around and I start, people, even if they glorify me, I am not satisfied. They want more and more out of it, right? So that is where the ego starts brewing, isn't it? So Krishna actually trusted us to be humble and do that seva. The moment we become proud, he will leave. Even gopis he left when he saw that tiny tinge of pride. What to speak of us? Right, Prabhu? So seva always we should say, that the beauty says that Krishna himself is saying that my servants are so, they purify me, he says. So how much great that position must be, isn't it? So servant means, service defines the servant. We should always look into the service and maximum try our best to offer it to Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. It is not for our pleasure. And one other thing that Prabhupada said is that to avoid becoming proud of our seva, always train others and move away from the sea.
That is the point I am trying to.
Exactly.
I always want to hold the position. If it is a special service, I only can do. I would want to give to others.
Yes. See, that position itself has pose in it. You are posing as devotees. You are not devotees. You are just posing as devotees. Posing as devotee, right? Poster, pose. When they put your photo in the poster, we are always smiling. Right? In the poster, we are always smiling. Not in our real life. Right? Pose means temporary. Position means temporary. Right? So, if the moment we take to this kind of a mood, Krishna will push us away. Right? So that is why we should train others. Prabhupada actually did this to Yamuna Mataji. Right? When she was always cooking, Prabhupada at one point told her that you please train others like how you are cooking well. Yamuna Mataji said, why should I train? Why should I worry about it, Prabhupada? I am always there to help you. He said, no. If you are the only one doing this cooking service, you will develop pride and envy. You will not let others learn this thing. Then competitive spirit will start coming up. So as much as possible, train others. And be happy in seeing. What is that sloka? Shrinvanti gayanti grinanta bhikshnasaha smaranti nandanti tavaihitam janaha tayeva pashyanti achirena tavakam bhava pravaho paramam padambujam. This verse, actually, Kunti Maharani gives us the secret of seeing Krishna's lotus feet. Taking darshan of Krishna's lotus. Tayeva pashyanti. Only those people can see my lotus feet. What is that? Shrinvanti, gayanti, grinanti, abhikshnasaha. This we are always doing. The thing is, smaranti, after smaranti, nandanti tavayitam jana. Not only that, I am doing hearing, chanting, remembering. I should be extremely happy by seeing others engaged in the same also. Right? We'll stop here. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much.
Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bhagavan. Hare.